¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo estás?
How do you overcome the absence of Joseph Martinez for the next few weeks?
Well, we'll see. We'll see. Doc, obviously, we had a tough week in terms of injuries, starting with Ossie, obviously Rosetto, Joseph, and then now with Dylan yesterday. Tough week, but as always, everyone is important in the squad. Next man up, and we will go from there.
Who is that next man? Is it Dom? Is it Jackson? Is it your Cisneros?
Well, we will see. We'll see. We are just checking the three options. We know what each one of them can provide to the team. They are fairly different in terms of characteristics, but we will see. We still train today with some options in there, so we will see. But happy to have those options. I think that's good to have at least three options in that position, and then it's just up to us how we address that.
Do you have an update on Araujo and when he might be expected to return? His timeline indicated next week.
Yeah, well, we will see next week if he's in or out. I mean, he's been training very well. Again, I told you he's a very explosive player, so we. Rather than rushing things up and trying to push for him to be available very soon, it's more important for us that he heals properly. It's a muscular injury. He's very explosive, so we don't want to take any risk for his future. So the long-term plan is better. So we are a bit more cautious with him. We will see where he's at next week, and we will go from there.
Is Hyman going to play
with the team? Or has he trained with the team, or is it just still on the side?
Still not inside, training on the ground, training on the field, but 1v1 basis with the physios and the fitness coaches. Yeah. He's been training already with the fitness coaches, which is a good progression now. So progressing very well.
Is Hyman going to play with the twos to get ready before he comes to the first team?
Probably. We are still waiting for that. For me, it's just again the mental side of this type of injuries is just whenever they feel secure and 100% to go for a game, he will probably try to be there in a USL game, but we will see when is the right timing for him to be there. But again, that is coming. We see the progression on him. He's been very good in the training session, training now for a few weeks with us, fully integrated. He's just now more that mental side of the 50-50 balls and the adjustments, and I think he's going to be fine.
Have you gotten to speak to Joseph since he flew to Pittsburgh?
Yes.
Can you share anything of what was talked about?
Well, just wishing him the best. I think we are very optimistic after his procedure. It was just a cleaning, and hopefully, again, guys, sometimes you don't know, but he's at times he's struggling with his knee and this and that. So last year when I was saying, yeah, Joseph is a warrior and all that, I still believe he's there because he's been having a lot of issues with his knee. It's been painful here and there at times after the games, before the games. Last game he was in pain and he still wanted to play for the team. So sometimes when I read some criticism towards him, you guys have to take in consideration that he's been playing with under pain, and that is not easy. So we are hopeful that with this surgery he can clean that up and hopefully he can be back to 100% pain-free, and then he can be obviously the normal Joseph Martinez that we all know.
When will he return to Atlanta, and what is the timeline for what's next for him?
I still don't know. Still, the doctor wants to have him close a little bit, so we are still don't know exactly the day where he's coming back. We are planning maybe less than a week, but we will see what the doctors say.
Y'all just played Charlotte a few weeks ago. When you're having to play a team again so soon after you played them the first time, do you consider making changes like you finished with a back three against DC United? Might we see that again against Charlotte?
Yes, we might. I mean, we will see. For me, it's just the formation in many ways is unimportant. I would say that. Like at the beginning of the game of the season, the first game against Kansas, you saw that we were playing a back four, right? But in the build-up, it was a back three. Ronald was staying next to George and Miles because no Alan Franco in that game, so it was kind of a back three, and then Brooks as a winger, Andrew Goodman as a wing back. Mm-hmm. So it was a back four, but realistically, we're playing a back three. So for me, it's just that flexibility. Is what the team can provide, but it's more about the ideas, the philosophy, the style that we want to play. That won't change. That will not change. We are thinking maybe the back four versus the back three against them because they play different formations as well. They've been changing. They started back five the last game. At halftime they changed to 4-diamond-2. They won the 2 games at home playing that same formation. So if they play that, we'll be prepared. But more than that is the principles and the ideas of the team that you won't see a change on that.
Well, Ozzie Alonso, when is he going to have his surgery to repair his knee? I assume he's out for the season. And what is the mood of the team now? Losing Ozzie for the season, Joseph is out again for 6 to 8 weeks. Y'all dealt with a lot of injuries already in just a few months.
Yes, I mean I just told you it's been a tough week. Mm-hmm. First of all, from the personal level, as human beings, you hate this type of injury, especially the long term with Dylan, with Ozzie. We are again optimistic on Joseph's recovery, but it's tough. But I rely a lot in the mentality of the team and the good people that we have in the squad. Like for me, it was amazing. Ozzie Alonso, for example, 2 days after his injury, he was on the training ground after his rehab, making jokes with the players, putting the cake on the face of Jake Mulroney. And the players need to understand that they are valuable for the team regardless of their minutes on the field. They are all valuable to us. They play, they don't play, they're on the bench, they're on the standings, they are playing with USL. They are all important for the squad. So the same applies now with Ozzie and Dylan. There are going to be a lot of months outside of the squad, but their implication in the locker room, their advice, especially Ozzie, I think that's massively important. And the players feel that. The players are positive that Ozzie is good mentally, Joseph is going to be fine, and then Dylan is going to have his surgery. He already had his surgery and he's going to be fine. So they're relying on that strength on the mental side of the team.
Did Ozzie have his surgery yet?
No, not yet. We have to wait. The doctors still don't have a nice straight timeline for the surgery because we need to wait a little bit for the strength of the muscle and some things to heal before he goes to the surgery. So they have to wait a little bit.
Has he indicated to you if he wants to try to keep playing after this?
Of course.
Well, I mean, being 36, and coming off an ACL.
Yeah, I mean, that's just a number. I mean, for me, I have no doubts that he's gonna come back. I have no doubts. Actually, he's very strong mentally. You know Ozzie by now, so he is not someone that is gonna give up at this moment. And I don't think it's fair for his career to retire in this way. I think he deserves better. Yeah. He deserves to retire whenever he decides, because still at 36, 37, 38, if he continues playing the way he was playing before this injury, he can have still a few more years, but he has to retire on the green, on the grass.
Speaking of that, last year, Joseph said he briefly considered retiring after he had to have the 3 surgeries in December to clean out scar tissue and things like that. Has he considered that? Has he mentioned that as a consideration?
No.
Okay.
No, he hasn't mentioned anything like that.
Okay.
And I don't want him to think even think about it.
Okay.
Coach, hace una semana muy complicada, muchos lesionados. ¿Cuál es la situación de Joseph Martínez, de Roseto, del mismo Alonso que va a ser operado? ¿Cómo está toda esa situación con el equipo?
Bueno, pues sí, fue una semana difícil por las lesiones. Obviamente, primero en el lado personal, perder a Ozzie, después a Dylan en lesiones de más largo plazo, se podría decir. Obviamente Joseph, que fue simplemente un procedimiento de limpieza en su rodilla, pero que esperamos que eso le ayude muchísimo para para jugar sin dolor, básicamente, y estar más libre en la cancha. Y obviamente Rossetto, que es de todas las lesiones la de menos tiempo. Esperamos que Rossetto esté muy pronto con nosotros, porque no fue de la magnitud que se esperaba. Creo que fue una lesión que en algunas semanas podrá estar con nosotros. Y bueno, lidiar con eso no es fácil, pero creo que la fortaleza del equipo, la unión de grupo, el saber que Ozzy está fuerte mentalmente, que Dylan está fuerte mentalmente, creo que le va a ayudar al equipo y tendremos que salir adelante. No para aquí la cosa, ¿no?
Y el regreso de Araujo, ¿cómo está? Siempre te he preguntado eso, porque
También,
es importante con tantos lesionados.
Sí,
el regreso.
Sí, mira, el caso de Araujo va progresando bien. Es difícil con las lesiones musculares a veces apresurar los procesos, sobre todo para un jugador tan explosivo como él. Entonces, incluso obviamente necesitamos a Araujo como necesitamos a todos los lesionados, pero Araujo obviamente es muy necesario para la forma como queremos atacar. No quiero correr ningún riesgo con él, quiero tener paciencia, quiero que él se recupere bien. Eso mismo también da oportunidad a otros jugadores de mostrarse y que haya competencia en el equipo. Entonces no tengo prisa, él estará cuando él se sienta bien y cuando los doctores digan, estará listo. Si toma una semanita más de lo que se había dicho inicialmente, no pasa nada de mi parte, ¿no?
Con la
A few more here.
ausencia,
Joe, Sandy, you got anything else?
Yeah, I want
Con
to.
Go ahead, Sandy.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Con la ausencia de Joseph Martínez adelante, ¿quién tienes en mente los tres posibles delanteros para el próximo partido?
Todavía no lo sé. Obviamente tengo las tres opciones, son tres jugadores diferentes. Jackson es más un 9 fuerte, alto, más de área, más fuerte. Quizás Dom es el más parecido a Joseph, es el que es un poco más bajito de tamaño, pero fuerte, sabe cuerpear, sabe retener la pelota, sabe correr los espacios, es potente. Tiene mucha experiencia, lo cual también ayuda. Y Ronaldo, que la verdad ha llegado apenas esta semana, pero se ha mostrado de muy buena manera. Ha hecho las cosas muy bien y sus compañeros empiezan a entender sus movimientos también. Él es un jugador con muchísima más movilidad quizás, y esas características las tres nos sirven. Entonces
Claro.
quiero ver quién se adapta mejor a lo que queremos hacer dentro de la cancha.
Gracias.
Because I want to go back to Ozzy for a second. Obviously, he's important not just for his technical ability, but what he kind of brings because of his experience with you, knowing how you want to play the game tactically, kind of being a coach on the field. Do you feel like you lose something in that respect by losing him, or do you feel like the players are now familiar enough with your system where they'll be able to they may need that so much at this point?
Well, it's hard to say that I lose something, and at the same time, it's hard to say I don't lose anything, because when you said I lose something, that means that the next guy up or the next guy replacing Ozzy is not up to the standard. It's not the case. I think we just play with what we have and what is best for the team, what is available. That's the best option, and we go from there. And I think I have good options there as well. It's for me more the personal side and the personal relationship that Ozzy has built within the squad, within the club. I think that's very important, and that won't change. I was saying just a few minutes ago that everyone is valuable, and for me, also being strong with the team and talking to them and giving them advice, that's also very important for me. And I think due to the circumstances, it's very positive that Ozzy is a very strong human being mentally, and he's going to be there for any of his teammates. So obviously we lose what he can provide on the field, but off the field he's going to be fine with the team.
Anything else for Coach?
Coach,
go ahead.
team is looking for its first back-to-back wins of the season.
Oh.
What's the key to maintaining success even in the midst of a difficult week like this one?
Well, it's just important just to have consistency, and I think that's something that we haven't had even within 90 minutes. I think there's been some inconsistency in many of the games we played, and I would like them to start to be more consistent, whether it's week to week, whether it's half to half of the game. I think we need to come back to be a little bit more dominant, similar to what happened against Kansas City, a little bit more of a dominant performance where for the most part we were on the front foot, we were dictating the tempo, and hopefully this can be a good a good game for us away, playing away in a very good stadium. We are going to meet that stadium for first time, and I think it's going to be good for the players to have a good performance down there.
Speaking of consistency, whoever starts at striker, if you play a striker on Sunday, is that the player who's going to get the run for the next few games just to try to get experience and chemistry with the teammates?
Maybe. I mean, I always tell the players that we have to go game by game. We have big hopes, big goals, big things that we want to achieve with the team, but we have to go game by game. And maybe, as you said, kind of in your question, maybe I play with a false nine. Maybe I play with two false nines like last year and we win. So, I mean, it all depends of how I see the team. I have to see the reaction, the behaviors, how they react towards certain tactics, and if they play good with that, maybe I repeat, maybe not. So I have to see. I would like to say that for this game I have options. Obviously, that's good always to have due to the circumstances, with Joseph. Now we have 3 center forwards as backups, and that's good. And whatever I decide, I think the team is going to play at the same level.
Great. Let's end it
Thank
there.
you.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay? Thank you.
you.
Thank you.
For Miles.
Martinez news just came out. He's going to miss at least 6 weeks. Needs another knee surgery. What's the mood of the team, the reaction to that?
Yeah, I mean, I just found out. Obviously, it's tough for the team and definitely tough for Joseph, but we just got to support him in any way we can. We definitely will, and he'll definitely come back strong. So, yeah, we just got to, be ready for them. It's just that, next man up mentality kind of thing. But, yeah, it's tough, but we'll get through it.
Speaking of the next man up, what have you seen from Ronaldo Cisneros this week? Obviously, a new player who could come in for him, and also, Jackson Dwyer. How do you feel like you're suited in that area to replace him?
Yeah, I think we definitely have good players that can, score goals and, help us. So I think they're definitely going to step up.
Y'all went through this in 2020 when he missed most of the season. The team struggled, 23 goals in 23 games. But what did y'all learn about that experience then that maybe you can apply now?
Yeah, I think it's just a completely different team than that year. There's so much that goes into it, but yeah, like I said, we definitely got some great strikers that can help us score goals. Dom's very dynamic, and obviously Ronaldo and Jackson can score goals. They've proven it, so we just got to keep going forward.
Looking to Charlotte, what are you guys focused on this week, especially after having played them not long ago?
Yeah, I mean, they definitely switch up their formations. They're trying to see, what suits them best. But it's about us, us playing quick, us, pressing, and, trying to score as many goals as possible, like always, and try to lock it in the back.
Swiderski is on a bit of a hot streak scoring for Charlotte. What makes him a good striker?
Yeah, I mean, he's just got that great left foot. He's dynamic. He has a great strike, but it's just about containing him and understanding his movements off the ball that have got him successful so far.
Y'all finished against DC United playing the 3 center backs again. Is that something we could see this week?
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what we do. But it's just one of those things like, how can we prepare ourselves to win these games based on who we have available. So I think we're definitely looking forward to this test, playing in on a stadium we haven't played in yet. So I think we're excited.
When you came into that game that made it the back 3, is that something you guys had trained at all, or is it kind of just ingrained in you from having played there, in that formation previous years?
Yeah, we haven't trained it too much so far this season, but yeah, I think everyone understands their roles in a back 3 for sure.
I know it's next man up, but when Joseph isn't out there, can you guys kind of feel it? And he's such a big presence for you guys. When he's not there, what's that like? What's the dynamic like?
Oh yeah, I mean, he's definitely a leader on the team. He expects the highest effort and the highest work rate every day in training, but I think we all do, and we all expect that out of ourselves. So we just kind of just have to push it aside, wish him the best in his recovery, and just move forward.
Anything else for Miles?
Also, ask you real quick. This is back, but just being able to qualify for the World Cup on that kind of action. How cool is that for you? That process of just going through all of that as well? Yeah,
it was super cool. It was definitely something I'll remember forever. It's definitely an honor to help the United States qualify for a World Cup, and especially given the circumstances of not qualifying last cycle. So it was definitely an honor.
Kind of add to it also, like you said, not qualify last cycle, and then where does it kind of move USA kind of going forward as well?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it, we definitely got a super young roster compared to the rest of the teams in the world. We might be one of the youngest teams in the World Cup, and that's just something that gives hope and faith for young American fans or just any fan in general of the sport.
Last thing, I'm just wondering about being in Group B. Obviously, you guys play in England. I mean, that's obviously something a lot of people have been talking about how cool it's going to be or how fun it's going to be. What is the kind of reaction you learned? Group you guys are going to be in?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Obviously, I know a lot of English people, just playing. But the fact that it's the day after Thanksgiving, I think, is pretty awesome as well. So.
All right. Thanks, Miles.
Thanks, Miles.
Thanks, guys.